Digital Marketing Certificate course. It's great to see you all. I see the number, the tallies coming up. So we've already got 65 people in the room. It's great to see you all. And while you're all entering, you can be sure that we are live streaming this on our sponsor social media, so that everybody in the association industry can have a little taste of the exciting class that we've got planned for you today. Let's go ahead and warm up that chat. Let's say hello. Tell me where you're all from. My location changed. So classes 1 through 7, I was in New York, but now I'm in sunny and muggy Miami. So I've gone straight south. Hi from DC. Hi from Chicago. Hi from Albany. Oh, there's a Florida. I saw howdy from Florida. That's great. We're at 150 people rolling into the room. Keep on coming in. Let's get those numbers up. Come on. Let us know where you're calling in from. Is anybody on vacation? Is anybody joining class today from vacation? Is anybody in Disney World? Is anybody in Yellowstone? Is it too early for vacations? Yeah. And the classic response, what's a vacation? Who gets a vacation? DC, I see DC. Maybe some of you are actually at your annual conferences. This is a big time. These next few weeks are annual conference weeks. So many people are, I get so many out of the office messages saying, hey, I'm at conference. Don't even expect me to reply to you for the next 4 days. And Isaiah says, hey, I was at conference and we wrapped it up on Friday. All right, so I think that we've got a lot of people in conference today. We're gonna have a little bit lower attendance today, but there's still so many of you. I'm seeing already 170 people in the room. That's great. I really appreciate you all coming for the final classes. In fact, do you know that some of you have already earned your digital marketing certificate because you came to the first 7 classes and you need to attend 7 out of 10. We'll go through that in a minute. As I mentioned, we are live streaming to so many of our partner social accounts now, sponsor and partners, and we are doing this on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube. You've been with us for this whole journey as we've gone through the learning curve for live streaming. It's exciting to share this content to give people a little flavor of what you're learning. So we're going to share, I think, probably about the first 10 minutes of today's course on analytics. And I'm going to do the weatherman shuffle here off to the side. So we've got our exciting sponsors. Don't forget to check out their offerings. You have Feather that does digital marketing and online advertising for associations. They've served over 1,000 associations. Association Analytics, and we're going to be talking a lot about analytics today, helps you with your metrics and your dashboard so you can understand how your association business is running and what you need to do in order to perform better. We have Open Water, that is the industry standard for virtual event platforms. And if you haven't signed up for that Open Water conference, it is free and is virtual. You should definitely check it out. Go to the Open Water website. I think it's getopenwater.com and check out that conference. It's in, I think, let's see, 1 week. And I'm already registered. I hope to see you there. We have PropFuel. You all remember Dave Will, who came and talked to us about conversational marketing. PropFuel is the software that makes that happen. And then we have my company, Ricochet, that helps you with your marketing and your technology, your digital transformation. And don't forget that we have already opened up registration for the summer semester. Can you believe you're getting ready to wrap it up? And the week after you finish, the next semester starts on July 8th. You can earn $50 if you share this referral code with your friend. We've only seen a couple come through, so I don't want you to miss out. Share that referral code with a friend or colleague. They'll get $50 off, and you will get an Amazon gift certificate. Now, and a final plea, please, after the class, you're going to get an email that says, rate Chris's work, rate today's class. That is really helpful for us. That helps us understand what's working, what's not. I told you we're doing a summer semester. We want to improve the things that we didn't do so well this time around. And your comments and your ratings are what gives us the guidance that we need in order to make this a better class. We have a jam-packed agenda today. It's all about analytics. We are live streaming the first part. I'm not going to go through it all here. You guys can read it. Actually, you're going to live it here in just a moment. It's my pleasure to introduce, we're changing up the format, my pleasure to introduce Bill Conforti today from Association Analytics. And I see somebody just joined us from Alexandria. I'm sure you're not alone there in Alexandria. I'm sure many other students are here in class with you. Bill is a senior executive with Association Analytics, and Bill is going to teach today's class. Bill is an analytics professional. He's been doing this for years and years. he knows it better than I do. So we said, Bill, why don't you come on? It'll be exciting for the students to hear from you. And you'll have you have a chance today, students, all of you have a chance today to listen to one of the experts in the industry. And after Bill's done chatting with you, teaching the material today, don't forget to stick around. We will still have a guest lecturer. That lecturer, I never reveal the name until the end, but I did talk to her before class started, and she said, well, if we see some really good questions, do you care if I jump in and do some answers? I said, go for it. So you may figure out who it is before we get to that point. So different class format today. I'm going to say goodbye to you all now. It'd be great if you could say goodbye to me in the chat. Lean into that chat. Bill's going to start sharing with you his knowledge about analytics and dashboarding. I'm going to pass it over to Bill right now, and I'm going to talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, Chris. Thanks everybody for coming to today's course. So we're going to talk about dashboards, right? So this is where we're going to end up. It's dashboards and analytics. And so what do dashboards do, right? They help us monitor performance. They're great for sharing information. They provide us with ways to explore our data, right? So we'll talk a lot about that. But the visual part, what you're seeing here is in some ways the tip of the iceberg, right? So this is the easy part in many ways. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about are the things that are sort of beneath the surface, right? So we'll spend a lot of time talking about building the foundation, like what that really means for an analytics initiative and for dashboarding in general. So you have to build a foundation, right? That's about people, its process, and its technology as well. We'll talk a lot about how to measure the right things, right? So it's not KPIs and metrics that are chosen at random. We go through a process, right? We want to match those up with our strategic initiatives, things of that sort. And then we want to, of course, present this in an intuitive, simple way, right? That builds adoption, that supports our analytics culture, right? And that enables self-service for our staff. So I see someone mentioned Looker in the chat. Yeah, that's a good platform. It's one that I recommend that you take a look at, and we'll talk about those a little bit down the road. Okay, so let's start here. What is analytics, right? So there's lots of different definitions. I have 3 of them on the screen now. The first one is just really generic, right? It's a process of discovering and interpreting significant patterns in data, right? So you can't go wrong with a definition like that. The second one I like a little bit more. It's really more comprehensive, right? So there's that focus on extracting insights. But what I really like about this one is that I think analytics is not just the extracting insights parts, but it's really this whole discipline, right? So it's the analysis, the collection, the organization, and the storage of the data, as well as the actual analysis and interpretation. So that's kind of the one that I like the best, and I think that's the one that we'll sort of have in the back of our mind when we go through today's materials. And then more and more, this last one is from Gartner, and they're really talking about the statistical and mathematical parts of it, right? Clustering, segmenting, scoring, predicting. I do like the emphasis on business outcomes, right? But I look at those things, the segmenting and the scoring, those are more like techniques and those are more tactics, but I like the more comprehensive view of what analytics actually is. And so one of the questions that we get very often is, what's the difference between analytics and reporting? And so they're not the same. So the short answer is no, they're not the same, but yes, they're similar, right? So when we talk about reporting, we're talking about organizing data into summaries, right? So it's about how is our business performing. Analytics, kind of on, I would say on the other hand, but it's not totally separate, right? But analytics has more of an emphasis on exploring the data. So extracting those insights and answering questions that are for improving our business, right? So we answer the business questions and then we take action, right? So reporting is more focused on the past. Analytics is more focused on the future. And then reporting is more about understanding what has happened. And analytics is kind of more focused on what should we do next, right? So let's then move on to our next topic, which is types of analytics. And so there are different types, of course, but you can almost think of this as levels of analytics, right? So we start at the bottom, right? In the red circle, we're talking about descriptive analytics, right? So this is what is happening and what has happened, right? If you think about a report or even traditional BI, this is descriptive analytics. If we add to that the element of data exploration, right, and we want to enable that exploration with our dashboards, then we get to the next phase, which is the diagnostic analytics, right? So that gets to the question of why, right? So it's not just what happens, but it's why. And we do that by drilling down, finding root causes, isolating cohorts to analyze, looking at context, for our data. So it's not just a static report; it brings in a lot of other context to the discussion. Now, if we add to that a lot of data wrangling and some mathematics and some algorithms, then we get to predictive analytics. And so, with predictive, obviously, we're using our historical data to predict what's going to happen in the future, to predict those future outcomes. And that can be obviously very powerful as an augmentation, to what you're doing with your descriptive and your diagnostic analytics. And then the last one is called prescriptive. And prescriptive is interesting, right? Because we all know that having analytics without taking action is really, it's just information, right? It's the value is limited if we don't take action. And so it's tempting to rely on your analytics or your analytics system to tell you what to do, right? So that's prescriptive. And it can be complicated, right? We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about automated recommendation systems and things like that. But the idea really is that what action should we take? We want to be action oriented with our analytics. And so I just want to say here that very often we can accomplish a lot of this through our own diligence, right? Through our own analysis of the data that we do have. So we don't necessarily need to get to the point where we're using AI, where we're using recommendations engines and things like that. But if we do, obviously that is really going to benefit our business and take us to the next level. Okay. So the next thing is, we know that this is valuable, and why aren't we doing it, right? I mean, why aren't more of us that are on the call highly successful when it comes to analytics and dashboarding? And that's really because it's hard, right? There are some significant challenges that we all face when it comes to this. And not surprisingly, they kind of break into three buckets, or at least we like to look at them that way. Challenges related to your people, to your processes, and your technology. So the people are probably the most difficult, right? The most difficult to change. And that is, there's culture, right? People are resistant to change. There's a lot of inertia. There's a lot of, hey, we've always done it this way, and we don't want to change. And so as marketers and as membership or meetings professionals, a lot of us on the call are the ones that can start to change that culture and to drive it, and to really encourage senior leadership and executives, to kind of push from the top down to change those things. Data literacy is still a problem. We're coming around as association professionals, but it's still something that we need to continuously focus on. And probably the biggest one is lack of trust. And so what I mean by that is really lack of trust in the data. And everyone on the call now knows that if the rest of the staff do not trust your data, right, then they won't use your dashboards, and they'll go right back to whatever spreadsheet or something else that they were using before. Okay, so process, we have organizational silos. I mean, our organizations are kind of set up that way from the beginning. So we really have to use data. And if we're able to build effective dashboards, that goes a long way towards breaking down some of the silos, increasing transparency, and increasing collaboration, right? Our processes are manual and error prone. So again, some of the things, some of the tools, some of the techniques that we'll talk about will help to eliminate some of that redundancy, some of that manual error-prone work. But still, that's something that we have to really keep an eye on. And then finally, technology, integration. Integration challenges are big. Selection, right? If we're not experts on something, how are we going to select the right tools to do the job? And then I think the first one is maybe the biggest, is that too many associations are still very AMS centric, right? And by that I mean the AMS is kind of like the center of their data universe, and they have to, they don't have to, but they often do. They try to push all the data back into the AMS. I think that's a mistake. and it's not really good for the performance of your AMS, and it's definitely also not good for any types of analytics or dashboarding, especially as it relates to marketers, right? So this is the point where we'll be turning off the live stream. So we'll just pause for 1 second, and then we'll